Hello, I'm Leonard Lang. I'm with CalRegsSolutions.com. Today we're going to talk about how a department creates underground regulations again. Today I have a document. It is a findings notice, and it was given by an auditor from CalRecycle, and they noted several violations by the recycler. Now this recycler has employees that run the operation on a day-to-day basis, and he oversees the hiring, firing, and operations. In this case, auditor came to do a review, and they found a violation. They circled on this form 2501A, and it says, did not inspect each load to determine the basis for payment. Well, that's inaccurate. And then they wrote in moisture. So what they're saying is that they looked at the containers but didn't, in the opinion of the auditor, properly adjust the payment for moisture. Now, that's a misinterpretation of the regulation, because if you look at section 2501, you see that it doesn't even talk about moisture. Therefore, to refer to moisture from that section is inaccurate. And now they've created an underground regulation. And I've dealt with this on several other occasions. Sometimes in one hearing, an auditor said that the recycler violated the law by buying wet containers. Well, I fired off a letter to the director, and they never responded. I said, how could this be an interpretation? The law doesn't say this. And that's what happens a lot when you talk to them about things or you confront them on things where they're wrong. They don't respond. Anyway, moisture is popping up more and more these days because people within the department have been talking about it and have been convincing each other that this is a violation. So we are seeing more and more of this. But this program's been in operation for decades. And why is it now just happening? It's because the department has made a determination, not in regulation, that now it's a violation. Something that they'd never cited people for in the past is now becoming a violation. That's the epitome of underground regulation. If we're going to fix these problems, we need staff that are better trained and understand the regulatory process, and don't just blindly follow the leadership who never reads this stuff either. They've used creative thinking, brainstorming methods to find new violations in the regulations that have never existed before. There's a couple others on here. It says that the total payment or the amount paid for each material type not indicated. If I were to look at the paperwork, my findings would probably show that maybe the attendant didn't fill in the total column, but the regulation doesn't require the total column to be filled in. It says you can fill in the amounts for each individual item, which is normally done. And then finally, here's another one. Full printed name and or signature of seller. Well, the regulations and the statute don't say that. They say printed name and signature. Now, in the recycling business, we deal with a lot of homeless people, low-income, indigent people, and many times they have issues of mental health. And in the beginning, if they just printed a name and signed a name, that was good enough for the department. It was good enough for the recycler. But all of a sudden, they've imposed a higher standard. They say it has to be full printed name and full printed signature, or full written signature. This is a change. It's not clear in the regulations that that's the interpretation, but they make it the interpretation to make and fabricate violations. So, bottom line, what do we take away from this? The department will pick and choose its interpretations to create violations, fabricate violations, and impose penalties on recyclers. In this case, this recycler could have had a permanent certification, which have been a much better situation for the recycler and reduce the risk that the department can take them out of business with just a letter. When you're in probationary certification, you basically have very few rights, and the department can put you out of business on a whim. And then you are put in the defensive. You're out of business, you have to defend yourself, and you have to go to a hearing, and hopefully if you win, you could get back in business. But in the meantime, you've lost a lot of money, and you've had to support yourself without a business. So, we'll give you a graphic of this and show you how you make underground regulation when you're in the Department of CalRecycle. Remember, when you have problems like this, contact us. We can help. We can help protect your business, keep you in business, and fend off the misinterpretations and misadventures of the Department of Resource Reduction and Recycling. Thank you very much. Contact us if you need us.